Yeah, what a wonderful sunny afternoon in Friday, and I'm glad that there is that huge response from audience. We received a lot of requests to join the event, and that means that this topic is hot, very important at the moment, and will be very inspiring for you today to listen from different experiences across Estonia and Latvia. And I hope you will also gain some useful knowledge and maybe inspire on your personal or company's next decisions. Uh, my name is Edgars Augustinš. I represent Vidzemes Planning Region, and today I will try to facilitate you through this event and swap between the speakers. What comes to today's agenda? I'm happy to say that this is being organized together with the Tartu Energy Agency, where we're going to share interesting experiences, as I mentioned, from Estonia and Latvia, and I hope you will enjoy it. So, as you can see in the agenda, we will start with this short presentation from my side. That's obligatory from the project point of view, but I pay your attention that I will present a unique interactive tool, which also is for free. So that may be helpful for each of us. Then after me, the Elgar, the board member from Sunenergia Group, will share insight and perspective from both countries. As they are working in Latvia and Estonia, they have developed a couple of solar parks in Estonia, and I have heard that they have great plans here in Latvia also. After that, Edmunds will bring us in different financial opportunities, which usually is the major obstacle for entrepreneurs or even municipalities. So where I can get the money and how to finance these sort of projects. When financial opportunities will be cleared at some sort of level, the critical part also is the, let's say, realistic calculations, what sort of assumptions are made. So the designing of the bigger solar parks are at the top level. So this angle will be shared by Martin, presenting from Tartu Regional Energy Agency. Jānis is the head of the business development at Virši gas station network in Latvia. We'll talk about also the alternatives to increase renewable energy usage with distributed consumption points. Very interesting things coming up from Jānis. And in the end, as the topic of the seminar says, that also municipalities are involved, then Emils from Gulbenes municipality, as the energy manager, will share some insights how municipality have developed their solar parks, and they had like unusual approach for their project and expected results. So it's worth to wait till the end. And so yeah, the seminar will be 2 hours long. I promise we will not reach over 4 p.m. so that you can enjoy your Friday evening and upcoming weekend, which also the weather forecast says is going to be sunny as this seminar. So shortly about the smart living project and what we do. So what does it really mean, smart living? You may ask yourself. Most of us will have some different answers of this. One thing is that most probably let's use smart technologies, same like photovoltaic panels, which is smart, renewable. There is also different sort of sensors, connectivity, availability to do like management and seeing in real time the production. Other thing is also let's make smart decisions, change our daily behavior. So all those things may affect also our energy consumption privately, also in the company perspective, so that the companies making decisions wiser in order to increase their development. Same for municipality. Let's use wisely our available resources. So that's the thing which we are trying to look around. And with the help of 3 partners, we are together in this project. Those are Green Tech Cluster, Vidzeme Planning Region, and Tartu Regional Agency. All this project is based on practical solutions for smart energy use. It's financed by Interreg Estonia-Latvia and cross-border cooperation program. And we do a lot. I say it because we have recorded quite a lot of seminars already, and they are all available in YouTube, or search in the Vidzeme Planning Region homepage, and you can see it. So in case you have something to find out more, or have some free time to gain your knowledge, maybe wider your view perspective, there are a lot of useful information available. But as I mentioned, there is one unusual, unique tool available, which I will shortly jump through it. In case you have, I hope you have at least some will to do it, you can jump in this site, livingsmart.io, and then do quick your household evaluation. So to understand on which base you are, how much energy you're consuming, and there will be tips and tricks how to improve your energy efficiency. So basically, as it's cross-border project, Estonia and Latvia is stated here as the potential where you can describe your premises. You may live in a house, you may live in an apartment, you may have different size and different amount of occupants or family members in the apartment and building, where you describe just the basic information about the household, electricity consumption, and you will get quick preliminary check how green, orange, or red you are living. So that means there is at least some potential to decrease your energy consumption within your household. That which also could be replicated further at your workspace or any other municipality, office, school, let's say like that. So main things, as you can see on the left side, those are the parameters which should be more or less described. So you defined rooms, living room, entrance hall, bedroom, kitchen, bathroom. You describe what sort of lighting bulbs you are using, how long they are switched on, what's the power of them. When you have done this, you can jump in the electronic devices which have in most of the houses. So refrigerator, oven, TV, computer, all these devices can really specifically can be described how much they are used, what's their power, and so that you can get the pie how much energy is being consumed within your building or apartment. Then comes the possibilities to also think about not about the electricity and heating, but also water. Water consumption is a crucial part also in our daily lives. So how tips and tricks how to save the water, cold and hot, and then what sort of energy source you are using for your heat. And most important thing, which really links together with today's topic, is the photovoltaics. Super hot topic. There are grants coming up for private households. Most probably some of sort of support is and will be for the entrepreneurs and also municipalities, how I have heard. So you may also quickly check what's the potential. So I don't have the solar panels installed on my house, but I'm interested. So I define what are the potential area for them, what's the angle and orientation of the roof, and then what's based on my consumptions and expected cover of the consumed and produced electricity. I can see what's the potential of the solar panels for my personal household. So just to switch my mind and maybe start to think about these solutions also on privacy. And in the end, you will get a nice overview of the, let's say, apartment or building. And then with those red dots means that you have something to improve. And there are tips and tricks. A lot of described regarding the, I have just to put it in the presentation regarding the water usage, the refrigerator, where it's located, how full the refrigerator should be, what's how that will gonna affect your electricity consumption, is there defrost function, and all these small tiny things which sums up, and actually in the end, in the year after year, may be multiplied by several euros, which are being possible to save. So at this moment, when the prices are skyrocketing, let's say they are keeping increasing, this is great opportunity to check your actual situation. Also, yeah, tips and tricks for different devices. And in the end, you will get the results, how it's shared, how cold water or hot water is being consumed, how much you can save with new mixers or new taps which are equipped with EcoSmart or aerifiers. So that means the flow is not fully flowing, but there is mix of the air. So and different technologies which are available, and also at what sort of level you are with your household regarding energy consumption per square meter, which is really easy to compare between the different municipalities, not municipalities, but apartments, buildings, so on. So this is great opportunity to try it for free. I encourage you to do it because it's also important for us to get some feedback, how it's working, if there's something needs to be changed. You have 1 year this year to go on and try it quite easily. So let's see, maybe during upcoming webinars, we will do some quiz about it, and there will be some potential to win some prizes. But let's jump to the solar parks. They inspire us, I hope. That's one of the slogan which we use for this seminar. And let's break the myths that the sun is not enough here in Latvia or Estonia. You will see the charts. I'm sure that Estonia is way ahead of us. So maybe we will get some good answers what we have to do here, how to motivate our companies, municipalities to step in this field and use the available opportunities. So that was shortly about the project. I stopped talking. I will give floor to the next speaker, Elgar. He is the member of the board of Sunergia Group. So stop sharing. And yes, Elgar.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. So I'll share my screen with my presentation. So first of all, thank you for giving this opportunity to share some ideas, some experience. And starting from myself, name is Elgar, very similar to Edgar's. So not a typical Estonian name, but maybe pronounceable for you as well. I'm a member of board of Sunergia Group. We have also daughter companies in Estonia and Latvia. I'm very active also in Estonian company, but every second week also in Latvia. So I know a little bit about already on Latvian market as well. But we do have people there who actually know more than me on the local things. But today here, my goal was to share some experience and some ideas what's happening in Estonia and how this could be your guidelines or little things to think about when you are planning solar parks in Latvia. Now, a few words about Sunergia. We offer a full solution for solar parks, so we plan, design, and install it. In our company, we have more than 10 megawatts of installation experience over the 5 years. So it starts from consultation and analysis and ends with after service maintenance and even repairs. In the middle, all what's necessary to build the park up fully working. Solutions, of course, what we provide are from single residential households on the roofs or on the ground up to big commercial parks on the ground or on the roofs. What we are using and brands represent are the top tier products. I will not go to the detail, but just to get the best result and long, let's say, maintenance and support, we have selected the best brands possible from the world and building up the solution based on that. And our goal is to do it very cost-effective way and the highest productivity. Now I'm jumping into the situation, what's happening in Estonia, and when I was asked to tell the experience, and then first thing what came into my mind, what's reflected to the current situation is that what I want to say to everyone is that Estonian situation right now is that in many areas we don't have a grid power left, which means that if someone wants to build a solar park and sell it to the network or connect it to the grid, then they are getting like negative answers, millions of offer to connect, like building a new line or new power station nearby. So there is really big investment interest, but current situation is really bad. So my suggestion, first thing is that if you have any plan to build a solar plant in Latvia, do it now, because of the grid is built up mostly in a way of consumption, not in a way of production in different substations. So it will be full finally. And the second interesting thing even right now is that in Estonia, small household, there is a crisis even with changing those meter adapters, which must be two ways. They not only count how much you produce, but also how much you consume. And Estonian electricity don't have those devices, so it's a big delay to get connections to the grid. So message here is do it now. Now jumping into what's happening and what was also in the past, and then I think the picture is also similar in Latvia, that the energy prices have risen 1, 2, or even 3% per year. It a little bit declined in 2019 in the end, but then started to rise again. And current situation, I think all of us know that we have a crisis on the situation, but 3 years ago the energy prices were at least twice cheaper. But in Estonia, there was still interest and lots of solar parks installed. With that time, technology, knowledge, and all the procedures what municipalities or Estonian grid Elektrilevi were put on, and still lots of solar parks were built. So if you travel around, you see that on the land in Estonia there are much more solar plants than in Latvia. But resulting 3 years or right now later is that solar projects are huge popularity right now. We are basically getting requests which are pretty challenging to deliver in some cases, but also, as I already mentioned, the grid is full in Estonia in some areas, so there is nothing we can do. But why actually not only energy is what makes the solar park more affordable or better return of investment. It is because the technology has changed. Thinking about solar panels, their power has increased a lot compared with the size of the panel. So with the same amount of space, you will get more productivity, more power. That's one thing. And also the panel, other smaller details have changed. For example, the energy transformation, the solar irradiation going to the panel, how much it can transfer. So even more details put together. The return of investment, it was 3 to 5 years ago, it was 8 to 12 years with the energy price, with the technology, with the numbers. But right now it's 4 to 6 years, depending on the size of the plant and all the details. But it is really good, considering that you're building the park for 25 or 30 years. Now I want to jump into the decision making and why these are done. Is that there are factors that influence the productivity, and the productivity, how much you get out from the one solar plant, means actually money, one way or another. So in Estonia, there are typically, I would put just in general three whys why the solar parks are made. The first very simple one can be investment. So you produce the energy and you sell it to the grid. We have a law that all the renewable energy will be bought by Estonian energy. So whatever you produce, it will be sold to the grid, and you get the price you agree, or by the stock price, depending of your contract, what you agree. Second is that companies or households typically look that I'm consuming like 10,000 kilowatts per year, that I want to cover it and use as much as possible and be independent from the energy prices, that how much it can change. And for businesses is also very important, as well as households. But in there, also thinking about the current situation is that one number, and in the future it can be different, because if electrical cars come, the consumption will also go higher. And I know that in Latvia there is a very exact comparison that this much I'm consuming, this much I should produce. In Estonia it's a little bit different, as we can sell the rest what we produce. And mixed, it means that that sometimes your roof plan is much bigger than you actually consume, but still you're considering that everything I'm producing, I will consume as much as possible, but what is left will be sold to the grid. And then initial idea that I'm consuming 10,000, but well, the investment is pretty good. I will install as much as I can, and that goes back to the grid power. But if you do the project, then the productivity again is the important factor, and our experience is that we try to use the best technology behind it and get the best results. But there are other factors than just the technology which influence the outcome. So, for example, installation place, direction, angle. I will few examples make more. Of course, panel selection, its efficiency rate, and some power warranties. Of course, inverter details, but you can use also optimizers and micro inverters. Then it's also shadows impact and planning the strings in the solar system, and even down to the small details that there are lengths of cables that where the electricity voltage must be accordingly, so that you don't lose much. So this goes down to the experience of the builder, and who is kind of knowing these small details. Now, few examples that what changes the efficiency. For example, we are right now expanding a lot of sites where 3-5 years ago panels were installed, and those panels comparing with new ones are already a big difference. So the panel size and power has increased over the years. Even if you think about 1950s, the first silicon solar cell panel had only 4% efficiency, which transformed the sun irradiation down to electrical one. Right now it's around more than 21 with best panels. But if you choose a plant and choose a panel, you should look these numbers, because if you have a big enough site and you are getting 1 or 2 year old panel, many companies of course have also this available and selling because it's in the stock, but you will not get the best productivity out of it finally. And if you count it over the years, that means money again. And the other part is that panel has warranty, how much power it generates over the years. It's a little bit declining everyone over the lifespan of the panel, but as high as the number is, it's the factor warranty, that how much power it is after year and year. That also is important factor. And of course the panel size compared with the power and many other things. One important or interesting factor is also that the new standard for ground panels are bifacial, which means that they also get the energy from the reflections from the ground and other surfaces. So that also increasing. We are doing all the ground installations with these new panels also in Latvia. Many big sites are agreed. Now also an important factor is the installation place, direction and angle. We are in a region where the average is 35 to 40 when you put it on the ground, but on the roofs it is less, because if there are high roofs and for example flat roofs which are bigger installation, then those are not screwed to the roofs, but they are just using ballasts and other method, which means the wind and snow loads, everything is calculated, so it's 15 to 25 degrees, which doesn't give that good productivity. But in there are also tricks what you can do when you plan the installation. For example, companies might consider east-west direction, which means wider productivity during the day, not the highest productivity. Small details in there. There are a few pictures that how you can see what is east-west and south directional. And east-west, for example, is smaller cost for mounts to put it on the ground. Then one very important factor is actually shadowing and planning the strings. So when we do the project, we try to look what is the situation around the house or the building, where is the shadowing, how to plan the strings, how much it affects the productivity, and in some scenarios also could use these small micro inverters, which kind of, let's say, looks every panel separately, that by getting a maximum out of it. So these things also count. I'm jumping ahead. So if you look, all this experience is important. But one thing what is also different in Estonia and Latvia, I think right now, is that also in the past 3-5 years ago, we didn't have much regulation on building solar parks. We have a problem right now in here that when we try to extend the existing park, for example, making from 50 kilowatts bigger to 100 kilowatts, then we see that park was made without any documentation, because there wasn't much requirements. Everyone could do it. Local municipalities allow it. Electricity grids also yes. But actually right now we are doing even small households with the project with full documentation, so that after the years, 10 years or 15, you can still see how it's done, because this is a serious thing. It's an electrical site. It has a lot of power and it has to be by the normatives and rules. So the project documentation can include a lot of things, actually, not just how the panels are on the house or on the building or on the ground, but normatives and everything. So there are norms and there are specifications, schemes, also building roof calculations, that how much it holds, everything. So the procedure in Estonia takes small ones 2 to 3 months, the bigger one 4 to 6 months. But now with the grid problem, we have even years that when the electricity grid installs you the connectivity. So plan ahead, all this, plan ahead as much as possible. But if you do a project, ask for full documentation, everything there can be, and look in detail what is needed, even more maybe than local municipalities right now can ask. So finally, key takeaways. So again, plan properly, but according to your goals. Maybe you want to sell or have the maximum productivity. Maybe you want to have the productivity stretching out over during the day, over the months, that you don't want the maximum, but you want to use as much energy you produce. Also then use the best technology, take the latest models, you will get over the years the better productivity. Of course, the technology will improve after 5 years. Those numbers are again different, but still, this is with the technology in every field. Document your projects well, and if you do it, find an experienced partner. Go into details, what is included in the project, and make your life also easier, because in Estonia it's always that like keys to your hands, that everything is included in the project, that we will do all the documentation, municipality communication, and all these permits, what is necessary to do. So that's it. I think my time is up, and if you have questions, please.
Thank you, Elgar. Yeah, thank you very much. I don't see any raised hands or questions in the chat box, but I do have one question. Maybe I want to hear from your side. You have worked in Estonia. Now you also are coming in and working in Latvia. What you would primarily suggest as the first thing for Latvian entrepreneurs, based on experience which you have gained in Estonia, in order to help us reach that amount of megawatts or gigawatts installed in Latvia, same as in Estonia?
To be honest, I would see that there should be also a similar law what we have in Estonia. So the companies or the unions what represent renewable energy should team up and also are interested that all the renewable energy what is produced could be bought by Latvian Energy, same way like in Estonia. That makes sense. So I would think that this would help move it along quicker. But the other thing is just do your calculation, ask the consultation, and as I'm saying, even with current electricity prices and really good technology, it is worthwhile to do. So even every home with batteries and car chargers and all these things, that's really what to consider.
Yeah, thank you, Elgar. Okay, yeah, we go further as time is running. Next will be the Edmunds Astich from the IA Power. Edmund, yeah, please share your screen.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so I will share my screen so you can. Edgar, the screen is on?
Yes, go on.
Great. So thank you, Elgar, for the presentation. Hi, yeah, my name is Edmunds and I'm representing company AG Power. And today I'm going to talk about the solar park development and financing opportunities and share some experience with our projects. And let's start in brief with our company. So basically, we are leading privately owned energy company providing a wide range of energy services We are offering all energy services to our customers, which are served by our experienced and certified specialists. And solar park installations and technical drawings is the part of our services which we are providing. And this is one of the things that we are doing and making some tailor-made solutions and based on customer consumption profiles and possibilities of solar park installation. So basically, when it comes to our experience in solar park installation, then I think we are one of the leading company and most experienced in Latvia market. So we are having like more than 6 years of experience and having 75 plus projects in our portfolio. Mainly, it's big projects, which is around 100 kilowatts and even more. So, and as of today, there's like 2,000 megawatts already produced from our installed solar plants. So, and as of today, we are having already installed like 1.3 megawatts. And already 1 megawatt is under construction, and we are designing more than 6 megawatts already for this year. So basically, our belief is that if a company consumes electricity, it can earn by producing green electricity itself. So basically, what we can see and what Elgars is already told in previous presentation, that the problem is coming that maybe with the grid in Estonia, and what we clearly see in Latvia, that demand for solar panels is also increasing. And I can agree with the things that Elgars already mentioned, that basically solar technologies is becoming more accessible and affordable. So it is indeed that solar panel efficiency has increased, and it also has increased in weather conditions when it is cloudy. And of course, for the Latvian, for Latvia climate, it's a major thing that the panels is resistant to high snow pressures and hail resistance. So actually, it all sums up that of course the prices for electricity is a big issue as well, which is like pushing the consumers towards the alternative solutions. And this all leading that we can see in the recent years that demand and already installed capacities has increased. And what we see in a future development, that also there is solutions which will become available for users, such as battery solutions, which will allow to actually store the produced energy. We see that people are looking also for off-grid solutions that will allow to have them electricity in places where you don't have a connection to the grid. And of course, we see that electric vehicles actually is booming, and people is looking for charging solutions. And currently, we see that there are some solutions in the market that allow use the solar energy for charging the electrical vehicles. So basically, these are the developments which we see in the future. I want to a bit touch on this topic as well, how to choose the best solar panel solution. I think Elgars mentioned a lot of things, which basically is very crucial for solar panels in order to get outmost of the capacities which are installed. I also wanted to highlight that basically solar panel projects, that's a long-term investment, and basically it's designed actually to work for 25, 30, and even 35 years. So in that sense, I think one should look for reliable and experienced solar panel installer, because all the mount systems and the panels itself and all the installation should be qualitative and should be able to withstand those 25 plus years. And of course, the development itself actually should be carried out by certified specialists. As Algars mentioned, there is actually high voltages involved, in that's very crucial that the system is designed by the certified specialists. As well, all the documentation has to be aligned with building authorities and especially with the saddle vehicles in Latvia's case. So in order that for instance, the residential users can use this option to actually to give to the grid and take it back at some point. So all that should be connected in saddle vehicles accordingly. And of course, as I mentioned, this long-term warranties and that's a really crucial thing that the consumers should take into account. And of course, these calculations on a payback time that should be calculated correctly. And there are sometimes, let's say, misleading information that companies or residential users, they are looking only on numbers of installed power, but actually it doesn't guarantee the productivity of this solar project, because it depends on a lot of things, of direction of the solar panels, or do they have any shadows there, and things like that. I'm not going to repeat all the list that Elgas mentioned, but it's still that's a crucial thing. And of course, you always have to check do all the essential components are included in the price list. So basically, there are sometimes some cases when you realize that basically there should be maybe a bit different solution used, which is not so cheap as it was stated before. So that's why you need to kind of rely on experienced solar panel installers. So basically, when it comes to financing possibilities, there are basically three main sources of financing. So the first is, of course, the own funding. If you have any free funds, you can invest that in solar park and basically start earn back from the first day you launch the park. So basically, when the sun is shining and the electricity is produced, basically you are on your own and you are not dependent on the grid. The second one is the bank's financing, like Altum or any other commercial bank. It can go in proportion with the own financing, or you can mix that actually with some different support instruments. For instance, like lauku atbalsta dienas or some let's say support from ministries. That's all you can do, and you can mix them up. And the third, which is maybe not known to public so much, it's a PPA or power purchase agreement principle. So and this means that basically you can use the solar electricity without investing your own capital. And it works in a way that basically the ESCO company is providing the solution. It works out the technical, all the technical aspects of the project. It attracts financing for the project. Also, it is the one who is building up the project and is running it during the period of agreement. And what for the consumer basically means this is that consumer is concluding agreement where it's obliged to buy all the electricity produced in this solar park for a fixed price for the fixed period of time. So once this period of time has expired, basically consumer is becoming an owner of this solar park, and he can continue use it as its own. So I would say that in this power purchase agreement case, so the most benefit is that basically the company can start use the solar park without investing any money of their own funds. And let me share some experience from our customers. And this is an example of company Linkson, which is basically currently the biggest solar panel park installed in Latvia. It has 489 kilowatt system installed on the roof, as you can see in a photo. And company used their own funding to actually to invest in such a project. This project was launched in 2021, and the company has already made the decision that for this year they will expand this park for another 100 kilowatts, and in the future they actually looking to maximize the electricity amount that is produced for solar parks, and even looking for some additional possibilities to install more power on this plant. Another one, let's say, example is basically Sia Banka Ltd, which is a canned fish production company, and this project was realized in together with the Altum Bank and with the support of local atbalsta dienas. So basically, this was the mixture of banks financing and as well the support from local atbalsta dienas, and even a small part of the financing was ensured by the company itself. So as well, this project was already launched in 2020, and the currently company is using this on a daily basis. Another one, and maybe this is like a case study which should be more, we will look into more details, is the solar panel park in private village Amatsiems. And basically this is the first project which in Latvia, which is developed based on power purchase agreement basis. About the Amatsiems itself, it's actually a unique village concept which is seeking the harmony between the nature and people living in it, and it basically has no fences, and everyone is responsible for village environment. So, and the case was that basically the values of this village and their owners was the main reason that connected both sides. So the Amatsiems and company Aya Power, because they were like looking for more sustainable ways how to live in this village. So here are some example photos from this village, and about this project itself. Then basically, as I mentioned, the both sides met in this project, and there was like some part of the village which used to be a sand pit, which is not working anymore and wasn't actually used by any means. So we developed this project and then basically suggested this solution that we will install 259 kilowatt park, and and we basically were the ones who was responsible for the development, for all the financing attraction things, for the project preparation and implementation. And according to concluded agreement, we are also taking care of the maintenance during the period of the agreement. And basically what we are looking of the lifespan of this solar panel park is basically 30 to 35 years. And what it means for Amaciems residential residents basically is that they are buying green electricity, which is produced from the solar energy. And it is expected that there will be 17% of the whole village consumption will be actually generated from this solar park. So thank you very much, Edgars, for opportunity, share our experience. So if you have any questions, you're welcome.
Thank you, Edmund. Yeah, I don't see at the moment, but how you inform me, you will leave. So basically, anyone who have questions, go on, and you have like a few minutes to ask after this presentation. But thank you, Edmund. It was really interesting to listen to your presentation. And one thing which I wanted to ask, I don't know, it's the secret or no, but how long do you see that these sort of PPA agreements usually are long? So
well, it depends on many factors, but usually it's like from 10 to 12 years. This is the period of time, basically, which it could be a less or even or a bit longer for a couple of years, but basically this is like 10 to 12 years. This is the time when basically you actually paying off the investments in this park.
Okay, yeah, I like the example of Amaciems because, as you described, that combines those crucial values which are for that village, and then also the area which you have used, which is, let's say, a little bit deteriorated or
yes,
or not used. Yeah, so actually that's very interesting to hear, and there is still potential. So 17% is only covered.
Yeah, there is, like, room for expansion as well.
Exactly. So yeah, Edmund, thank you very much.
Thank you, Edgars.
We go further. And yes, the next one is the Martin Hickas, Director of Tartu Energy Agency. Yeah, Martin, I know you have a specific obligation to represent one company today, so
yeah,
the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. I hope, just for testing, I hope you will see and you hear me.
Yes, perfectly.
Good. Then let's go. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for invitation, and it's nice to be here and make presentation and share some experiences from side of Estonia. I'm Martin Hickas. I represent our partner in this project, Tartu Regional Energy Agency, and we are dealing quite a wide range with, let's say, small scale energy. It meaning consultations and helping municipalities and citizens to deal with energy, different kind of energy efficiency, how to consume, how to manage, how to save, and how to produce. And today I like to show you one example, quite a big size of solar power plant. It's not the biggest one, but still big enough. And the focus is, it's like let's say in our case, it's like money machine, not exactly to get the rich very fast, but still it's a kind of income generation possibility as well. The other thing is to reduce your cost to energy, and you will make a solar power plant, PV plant saving energy. But in this case, it's like to gaining income. First of all, there was a land. There was a little bit more than 1 hectare land. It was private property in South Estonia, and all these this PV station was designed and installed in 2017, so it's already almost 4 or 5 years in operation. So we can represent something already to what was gain, and I will show how it was planned, and then a little bit more about how to start with this kind of plans. So solar power plant, SPP, it means generating from solar energy power. The capacity of this plant is 660 kilowatts. It means total of more than 1,200 panels with 335 watts. They are targeted or focused to the south and with angle 30 degrees. And as it was, as you see, it was on the land of previous farmland. Now it's a production land, and you didn't see there was any trees. So it's quite a good place to put the energy generation station. So about inverters, 7 inverters of 50 kilowatts and 110 kilowatts. And altogether 360 kilowatts of capacity. There is a monitoring system. It means data logger with connection to the internet to get data and make it visible to the owners. It started in operation in 2018. Cost was approximately 300,000 euros. 40% of support was asked from Estonian Environment Investment Center, and that time it was possible to get some investment support, and they get it. So it makes more feasible these kind of installations. And all produced electricity is sent to the network, to the electric levy, to the DSO, and price is not fixed price. Price is not full price. It's every hour price. How it is, so it is. Here is some economical calculations about these in pre-phase. It was pre-calculations. As you see, produced energy is 385 megawatt hours per year. Cost was close to 300, as I mentioned, and payback period was calculated a little bit more than 6 years. And energy cost was in calculation take as you see a couple of presentations before in 2018 and 17, there was price close to 50 euros, 45 euros actually per megawatt hour. So today it's much more. It means it's coming more and more feasible and make profit even better than it was calculated. Some financial data again. Payback period 6 years, and ROI and NPV you can see here. So in conclusion, today it performs approximately 8% better than was calculated. It's still it was last year, so I think this year will be even better because price of electricity even higher. So we can say that such kind of energy power plant, at least in Estonia, and in Estonian circumstances or conditions, what we have here is still profitable investment, and they can compare even with the other, let's say, investments what people can do. Today it's private, and it's owned by a couple of investors, but today we from our agency we support more, let's say, citizen-based, more wider range of investors to make investments to the solar power plants as well, because it seems that our needs to energy is quite high, and prices is more promising as well. So about the maintenance or how to run, definitely it is electrical installation and needs anyway regular maintenance. During maintenance, all electrical connections, fuses, and so on will be checked. Time to time, thermographic surveys of solar panels are carried out, definitely, because the quality is quite high anyway. But there happens that in some cases, some, let's say, dead points will be available after a while. So, and this maintenance will keep this plant in operations at least 20 or 25 years. It means that you need to carry out a little bit to have a good production. And in picture you can see some inverter failure of one connection. It happens because it's electricity. And one funny thing, to cut the cross, there is different ways. And from spring 2021, the friends came to help to maintenance a little bit the land around these panels. So, and some administrative steps in Estonia, what you need to have or what you need to take to start with that kind of energy power plants. At least if you have already land and point of connection to the grid, then you need a building permit from local authority, from municipality, or building notice. It depends how big your power plant is. It's quite easily can get. You don't need actually to have technical design, but as you already saw and heard from previous presentations, definitely it's electrical installation, and for at least for yourself and for a grid operator, you need to have electrical part, definitely. And then you need to apply to connection to the grid. And in Estonia, the steps of connection to the grid are you submit the connection application, then they providing you the connection requirements. They checking how much capacity you have there. As you already heard again from previous presentation, in Estonia, in many places we are quite a lot of full, so there is no possibilities to include that peak more than one, actually more than 15 kilowatts. It's quite hard in some places. Less than 15 kilowatts and some couple of panels, it's easy to include the grid. But the bigger ones, it's completed, yeah, and then when you get the answer of proposal, it costs something, and then you signing a connection contract, and can start of installation. When it's installed, you need to commissioning your production unit and you need to run a test. If test is succeeded, then you are allowed to go to the network to grid. With these, you need to sign a network contract with service provider as well. One thing is let's say, grid as itself, the connection to the grid in hardware, but the other thing is connection to the grid as energy selling, buying and selling electricity. So, and network contract is for connection. Grid operator will sign the network contract, and you have possibility to send electricity to the grid side if you have electricity contract as well with service provider who is, let's say, buying your electricity. So it was my little presentation about one case study in Estonia, and then some steps which how to deal with or start with power plant in Estonia.
Thank you, Martin. I will use the opportunity to ask you, as you represent Tartu Regional Energy Agency, so that means your responsibility, I am guessing, is energy efficiency, also some sort of this renewable development. Do the Tartu Energy Agency support with some sort of technical knowledge, some sharing advices? People are coming to you, asking questions. That's part of your daily job as well?
Yes, yeah. We're dealing with, let's say, small scale. It means, okay, till maybe 100 kilowatts or 50 kilowatts or 15 kilowatts. It doesn't matter are they in field or building integrated. Most of we're dealing with building integrated, multi-apartment building, on private family buildings. But definitely, what we do, we suggest some technical solutions. We make productivity tests or productivity calculations and financial calculations beforehand. We don't build. Its service can be obtained from market quite easily, and we don't sell energy panels. But our preparation works till investment, making investments. We help.
That sounds good, but how I understand, basically more focused to the private persons than the companies, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And as previous presentations pointed out already, that the Estonian network is on the level that it's difficult to actually, so challenging to develop new bigger parks in Estonia. How from Energy Agency, how you see how this path can be continued? Is there some sort of ways how to overcome those barriers? For example, I'm just guessing off-grid, development of the off-grid, or how you see it?
Yeah, as we see that definitely energy generation will be increasing and still increasing. On the other hand, the let's say electrical cost needs more electricity as well. So we had a discussion to upgrade our grids, and definitely grid operator is ready to make it. So I think in Estonia they are upgrading step by step, of course, as much as they can to make grid more, let's say. But the grid have more capacity to transfer, to transfer electricity. So grid operator and its national company, and upgrading is definitely.
Okay, and you presented the step-by-step way how usually the new projects may be developed. Your feelings, it's easy, there is room for improvement, or it's still complicated for the new projects to step in this field?
In small scale cases, it's easy. Up to, let's say, up to 15 kilowatts. It's quite easy, I think. And even our grid operator is open, let's say, nano producer. It means couple of panels on a balcony or something, and it's easy. Just buy panels, inverter, small inverter, and switch it on. 15 kilowatts. Yeah, it's more a little bit than one family house can produce, consume. But more than 50 kilowatts, it's complicated. It need to be. It's a little bit different in place to place, but mostly it's waiting the upgrading of grid.
Okay. Audience, if you have some questions, you are welcome to use this opportunity to ask. Otherwise, Martin, thank you very much for your presentation and time. We jump further. We have the next is Yanis, head of the business development from the Virši. He will have a presentation about how fuel tanks stations are seeing the potential also.
Yeah, happy to meet you on Friday. I'm going to walk you through Virši experience with taking the first steps with utilizing solar energy. And what's interesting with our case is that we have this many distributed consumption points. So how to deal with that, and what's the most efficient way how to cover most, or well, currently only small part, but the ambition is to cover most of our consumption with renewable energy. So very quickly, who we are well known as one of the leading fuel retailers in Latvia. So having 66 currently spots with convenience stores and fuel sales points, and then what is now our strategic ambition and where we are growing is energy direction. So we are becoming an energy company as well, selling electricity, gas, working with alternative fuels, and also going downstream. So starting produce electricity from solar with solar panels, and also biomethane for our CNG network. So as I mentioned, 66 sites, and basically what we see is that we have these two alternatives. We have to produce energy on site in our locations, and then to develop large scale, well, maybe we should call them medium size projects that we do in a distance away from our consumption points. In case of the distributed consumption points, then we have the roof as the space where we can install the solar panels, and then we are checking what's the roof type that we have, and also what's the shading. So are there any trees, and then we see which are the top spots for these panels, and where we know that we will never most probably install solar panels. I'll cover this part a bit more about larger projects. So what we are looking at right now and working on is up to three solar parks. The smallest one is below 1 megawatt. The biggest one is almost 4 megawatts large, and this is what we are. This is what we are currently in a phase of analyzing and preparing for the investment decisions. And why we are doing that? Because although it's detached from our connection points, but there are various ways how we can relate the energy that we produce somewhere else to our own consumption. So currently the legislation is not super flexible. Currently the only way how we can legally link what we produce in one spot with our distributed connection points is with the help of guarantees of origin. So Latvian transmission system operator is issuing guarantees of origin for the renewable energy producers, and then we can transfer this and cancel for the benefit of our own consumption. Of course, in such case, we can use it for PR perspectives for our own ESG reporting, but financially we are not benefiting much. We are basically selling what we produce in a detached location with the spot price or with fixed price within our own group. What we are hoping for is that we will get one or another solution to virtually net out what is being produced and consumed within the same legal body, so that if we, for example, are producing in one of these projects that we are planning in, let's say, 1 megawatt capacity, then what we are producing, and then everything that at the same time is being consumed in our network, then we hope that it could be netted out, and then we are benefiting both the value of the energy, probably the green levy, so any taxes, excise taxes or green levy that is being, for example, in Latvia, that is being distributed to the subsidized energy producers, and maybe part, smaller, bigger part of the distribution network also is being compensated to stimulate the rollout of such projects. So this is yet currently unclear where the legislation will go, but we are open-minded, and we hope that one or another solution like this will appear. When it comes to the distributed production of solar energy, so yeah, this is our first case here. When the drone visited the plant, then we have only covered one roof. Actually, currently all 3 roofs in Vidzeme and the fuel tank have been covered. So in total, it's 138 panels, more than 50 kilowatts installed, and so we plan to produce around 50 megawatt hours each year in this site. Why it's for us it's beneficial to do also the local on-site production. It's because our fuel stations have quite stable consumption throughout the day. So this is the actual consumption for the past 12 months in our fuel station in Vidzeme, and this we have so averaged out for each hour during the year. Of course, it changes a bit during the winter and summer, but also in summer there is a lot of conditioning, so there is a peak in the middle of the day as well. And here we see for this 50 kilowatts, what we expect, what will be an average super productive day for the sun, and this is the average throughout the year. So how we have average for each hour. So basically, there is a very small area here what we will sell back to the grid, and those will be peak prices. So mainly we will cover, we will consume immediately everything what we produce, meaning that we financially gain full spectrum, the energy part, the distribution system operators part, and the green levy. And in case of such smaller consumption points like fuel stations, then of course the distribution network part is relatively high. It's about 40 euros per megawatt hour. So it means that what we used to know as the value of energy, which used to be around 45 euros per megawatt hour, then we can double that by avoiding electrons coming from the central grid. So here is a map of what we have committed, what are the investments that we have committed to this year. So here in Brocēni we have the one that I showed you in the picture with 50 kilowatts, and currently we are going ahead with 13 more. But here we are focusing on 11 kilowatt inverters. So everything that falls behind the micro generation level currently in Latvia, simply to we saw the high prices that are expected this year, and to benefit from that, we want to move ahead quicker. So that's why we are installing smaller capacities. It would be normal to put at least 20 kilowatts, maybe probably even 30 kilowatts on each fuel station, but simply then the paperwork would take 2 times longer periods. So that's why we have decided to go ahead with the micro generators. But still, so we hope to harvest already the result this summer. Projects are still in process, but we are confident that in spring we will finish, so we can harvest the sun production this summer, and we will have a quite decent capacity. It will be above 200 kilowatts, which for Latvia, where we have between 20 and 30 megawatts, I think, installed currently, then it's at least something. But as I mentioned, we don't want to stop here. We will move ahead. So yeah, that's the story with Virši and solar panels.
Great to hear, Jan, is this great path which is presented by you, and how actually the fuel station, which is, let's say, traditionally based on the non-renewable source where we fill up the cars, is looking very perspective in the future. I have a few questions I may ask. One of that is regarding your described situation about those distributed production sites. So basically, which is, how I understand, moved away from the gas stations, fuel stations. How I understand, the legislation right now is a little bit as the barrier to motivate you go on, or you still see that that's potentially like feasible to do it at this moment also?
Yeah, well, as you heard with from the previous speakers, then of course you can plan investments based on the market price. Yes, there are also some PPA contracts available, 10, 12, also 15 and 20 years in the future. Yeah, for any investor, the downside is the possible possible decrease of future energy price and the cannibalization of solar energy, where everyone will be producing in the same region at the same time. We most probably already this year we will see that Estonian prices in summer will go down during the daytime, but in Latvia, due to limited connection capacity on the border, Latvian prices will be higher on the wholesale market, simply because yeah, at the same time there will be this massive 600 plus megawatt of energy being produced in Estonia, and very little at the same time here in Latvia. So yeah, that's why for an investor, every way to safeguard, either to sign a long-term PPA, or then have this possibility to get additional revenue from lowering the distribution network. That's a good incentive.
Okay. Elgars is asking the question: do you have any plans to connect electrical cars charging systems? I guess at the gas stations. Yeah.
Yes, yes, of course. We'll have so we have some e-mobi chargers right now in our stations, and we will have our own charging network. So then, of course, yeah, we can show that this energy is directly produced and charged to the cars, where in that case we can account it as 100% renewable energy, whereas otherwise we would take the share of renewable energy in Latvia, which is also high currently. But yes, if we have the direct link between it, that it's within the same object, then we can fully account the produced energy for the electricity that's being charged to the cars. But I think fuel stations will be very interesting microgrid examples. So yes, we'll have the solar production. We will have charging of the cars. We most probably will have batteries when the EV charging becomes more powerful, and we'll need 350 kilowatts, for instance. Then it might not pay off to make such a large connection to the distribution network. It might make sense to have a smaller connection and to have a battery to store the energy. And then, of course, in our case, we also have CNG compressors that have very big peaks. And then, yeah, within this microgrid, we need to manage all the time the load in the most optimal way.
Yeah, seems that the fuel tanks will have diversified their products and will adjust to the future demand. And yeah, Elgar is just commenting. Yeah, they are on the right track. No more questions. Yeah, same from my side. Thank you, Yanis. Yeah, it was really interesting to hear the vicious perspective. And yeah, we go further to the municipality. Now the time is for the municipality to present their approach. And I think, if I'm not wrong, Emils, that's the PPA project already established in Gulbene. Yeah. So yeah, the floor is yours. You can present. We can see your presentation. Yeah. We don't hear you only.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see the unmute button. Hello. Thank you, Edgars, for introducing me. I will introduce me myself once more. My name is Emils Kārlis Ziediņš. I represent Gulbene municipality, and I would like to share our experience in renewable energy today with you. So, we as a municipality believe that renewable energy is a large part of our future, and today I would like to share my municipality's latest example of renewable energy. So, since 2020, there has been a solar power plant installed on the roof of main municipality building. It was approved and started producing energy on May of 2021. I would like to share Gulbene municipality's experience in implementing this project from its beginning till completion. So at the start, in 2019, EKI, or Emission Auctioning Instrument, was launching another call that would provide funding to government institutions to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. So Gulbene municipality, based on its collected data with the help of independent leading experts in renewable energy sector, decided it would apply for a chance to gain this funding. On the slide shown, we can see our region's sun. That's the sun that can produce 930 kilowatt hours per square meter yearly. Why we chose this building, for example, it's one of top consumers in our municipality. It has constant consumption of electricity. At night, it has almost 10 kilowatts consumption, and on average during the day it has 25 kilowatts, and in the whole year it consumes 120 megawatt hours. So while drafting this application for funding, it was decided that there should be some security implemented to reach our set goals. So the municipality introduced a warranty for generated energy. This would place some accountability on the winning construction firm, so the goals would be met. This was something new, and it was a novelty, and all involved authorities were very excited. So how does this warranty work? It's actually really simple. The plant has a set yearly goal which it has to reach. In this case, the power plant has to generate 49.6 megawatt hours per year. If this is not met, the percentage of missing target is calculated and paid out of a bank account which is specifically made to store the warranty sum. How does the power plant look at this moment? Let's see. The plant consists of 158 monocrystallic panels that are separated in 2 sections. Each section can generate up to 25 kilowatts. The solar plant also has a 10 kilowatt battery, which was also something new for all involved parties. The battery charges up when there's excess energy and discharges when the plant isn't producing enough. The plant also has 5 inverters. Let's look at the main part that everybody wants to know, the finances and the data. The power plant cost approximately 102,000 euros, VAT included. Out of these 102, 91,000 were eligible costs, and 70% of eligible costs were covered by the funds from emission auction instrument, which is approximately 64,000 euros. The rest was covered from municipalities' budget. It was calculated that the with government support, the power plant would be repaid in full in 5 years and without in 15 years. But looking at how things are moving in energy sector, we speculate that the power plant will repay itself much faster. It's hard to say a specific number, which is with this instability of prices, so I'm not gonna speculate. Now let's look at some of the collected data since the start of the power plant operation. This first graph shows average summer day in July. As we can see, the graph contains 24 columns. Each of these could represent 1 hour. Columns are also differently colored. The orange color is representative of energy produced by the solar plant that was consumed by the building's electricity equipment. This equipment mostly consists of computers and the main server. The blue color also represents what we consumed that day, but this energy was bought from the energy network. And then there's gray, which represents excess power that was produced by the plant but couldn't be consumed by the building. This energy was transferred back into power grid for free, according to the grant terms. This next graph shows a moment of energy, movement of energy that the whole month of July. In this graph, you can see much closer how holidays differ from work days. The energy need is reduced, but it still remains high because of critical systems that cannot be turned off. And of course, when the demand lowers, the spare energy increases. So we as a municipality, to reduce this amount of spare energy at this moment, are in the middle of connecting the whole Gulben Central Park to administration building. This is going to reduce spare energy, most of the spare energy, because Gulben Central Park has a fountain which consumes consistent energy during the summer when the energy is mostly generated. We as a municipality are very happy that we were bold enough to implement this project in our municipality. We are happy to share our experience and of course our results. We hope this power plant brings us a step closer to the future and maybe inspires others to implement something similar. To conclude, I would like to share some of our future plans to show we are fully invested in using renewable energy. At this moment, we have applied for government funding for 4 different municipality buildings to be renovated, and every single one of these 4 buildings we plan to have a 10 kilowatt solar plant for electricity needs. Of course, if we get the needed funding for these. We are also planning to install 20 kilowatt power plant on an industrial building that is set to be built this year. Thank you for your attention. I can answer some questions if you have any.
Thank you, Emil. Yes, I have a question, of course. You didn't say it, or maybe I just didn't heard regarding the performance, how the photovoltaic panels on the administration building are performing. So basically, you bought the energy amount, and then the actually the calculated amount is being produced on the yearly basis. The contract is being
well,
like,
it differs.
fulfilled.
In the winter months, it's not reaching what it was promised, but in summer months, it's producing more. So it hasn't been still a year, and we are very hopeful that it will reach this 49.6 megawatts per year. And if not, there's the warranty we implemented. So we shouldn't be worrying too much about this.
Yeah. Okay, so that means more or less, so everything is aligned according the contract, and there is still time to fulfill it.
Yes, yes.
Elgar is saying very honest words to Emil's. The return of investment with the data is most surely correct, but I am very sure it's both why with very high price, and that part I suggest to take a look over when proceeding. So basically, I see it as more or less the comment than the question. and yes, also, yeah, do you have some
At
comments?
this moment, we haven't evaluated the recuperation of the station because we are still buying electricity at the prices that were before the increase. Our contract with electricity provider will end soon, and then we'll buy prices that are according to the market's
North Pole,
prices.
yeah.
Yes, and then everything will change.
That's true. Zintars is asking, output of solar photovoltaic depends on the solar irradiation. Do you measure solar energy on site?
We have a program online that shows the whole graphs that are generated on a daily basis, and we are showing this data on our municipality screen as per the grant that it was agreed that we would share the data with public. And one of the main decisions was to build this power plant on the main building to show common people that this is something that will happen, and to encourage them.
and municipality most probably works as the example, which proves that the technologies are in the place. So, and with the right approach, right estimations, actually you can really generate electricity. For your upcoming projects, I see that most of them are below those 11 kilowatts, which is microgeneration. There are reasons because it's too difficult or it's too complicated to align if it's about those 11 kilowatts, or those buildings just don't consume that much of electricity.
Yeah, we have a lot of buildings, but none of these buildings consume as much as, like, say, for example, power or a developer, someone who makes something. They have small consumption of energy, and we just don't see the opportunity to place a bigger plant because we will not get the energy that we give to the network back, because government and grants given us, we don't receive it back if we don't use it on site.
Mhm. For those projects, do you also plan to buy produced energy, or it's just the physical panels?
At this moment, we just physical panels because they are much smaller in sizes, and we are seeing now that the calculations are adding up mostly.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Emil. I think it's also very important to hear how municipalities are going on, and with the grant systems, which also comes in for the municipalities, we see that there is the potential to keep develop photovoltaic panels within municipalities. Yes, all of the speakers, experts have presented. I don't know if there are some additional questions from the audience. If no, then I may try shortly, maybe wrap up these 2 hours. And my personal, let's say, conclusions and observations from the presentation. One thing is, I think, as the return of investments or payback time, that's important thing, which usually these projects consider, because yes, we calculate the investment and how much we will return the invested money we'll get back. But I think, and as we heard, there is other important aspect, which is being independent from the high energy fluctuation of the price. And actually that showed up in those examples which actually have been developed in 2018, 2019. Those projects are the winners at the moment, because they went so the first one who goes wins at this moment, because yeah, the price have been increasing significantly. So that means that the investments will pay back even more quicker. And as the presenters also pointed out, that the crucial or very important part is the designing and making assumptions. It's not just about the installing some sort of kilowatt power of panels, but also trying to understand with the simulations how the panels will perform, so that investments are, let's say, little bit safer, wiser made, and there will be actual electricity production. PPA or ESCO, there are some projects in place. I also see that there may be some bigger development in this sector. Yeah, just to not stress the let's say entrepreneurs, companies and municipality with their investment, but be sure that the panels are in place. And actually we as the region, whole country, whole Baltic states get more independent within the electricity production at this moment. I really hope that that this progress regarding electricity production continues as it already has started. It's doubling on the yearly basis. So 10 megawatts were installed in 2019, 21 in 2021. So let's continue this path.